results into like a dunk or a three to get the crowd to it. So I was kind of wondering, like, do you kind of talk to you guys, I guess, about a grand slam? We got to get those live ball turnovers.
So so what we talk about, we have a term tutty. That's a stop, score, stop. You know, people do it different ways, right? There's lots of people that do the 3 stops in a row, and they call it a strike or a turkey or a kill, or they all have different terms for it. So we used to do that, and then I'm like, but if we could get 9 stops in a row, but if they get 9 stops in a row, then it's just a push. So that score, stop, score, we actually call it blitz. We kind of do it in reverse. So that's more offensive, and we call it blitz. The stop, score, stop, we call it tutty. And we do that because that used to be +7 in practice. So if they got a stop, score, stop in the defensive 3-trip segment that we do, they'd get +7. So then we just start calling it a touchdown, then the tutty, and then so that's something that we do talk about, because those are possessions, like you get that stop, especially that, like, and we don't necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be a live ball turnover. That's very nice to get those, but you know, to get that stop and be able to get out and go. And we've talked about trying to be the most dangerous team in transition in the country. Then we go, you score, and now you're like, all right, now you get that next stop. That's like, it's deflating to have the stop for the other team. It's deflating to let us score off of that. And now, like, we get that next stop, and you're like, oh man, like, so, you know, we do talk about that, you know, a decent amount. We'll be in huddles talking about, like, stop gets us a tutty right here, stop gets us a tutty. So, you know, just trying to promote those things that get them like, all right, we need to be focused, really focused right here, because those are the game breaks, right? Like, that's the separators in the game. You know, those are 7-point swings. That's why it was +7, because it'd be like a 7 or 8 point swing in that stretch, even maybe 9. You know, you score, don't give up a 3, score a 3, don't give up a 3. You could go somewhere in that range. So, you know, those are ones, like, the more we get of those, you know, the better we're playing for sure.
Do you try and go into this one treating every game the same approach as to Bonaventure, as to Duquesne? Or, you know, are you candid about, hey, they're, 29 in the net right now? I think it's an enormous game in terms of resume building opportunities, A-10 hierarchy. Do you talk about that at all, or are you just trying to treat it like the next game?
Not that deep. I mean, they know all that. You know what I mean? Like, they know that that's a team that's picked right at the top. That's a team that's gotten a lot of attention, and rightfully so. What we talk about is, like, these are the types of games you want to play in, right? Like, you want to be a good player on a really good team that's playing against another really good team, right? That when you line up 1 through 9, 1 through 10, 1 through 11, whatever, and you look across, you go like, all right, that dude can play too, right? And it's not like, okay, well, they got that guy, but then look at these other guys. No, like, that's the way you want to play it. You know, when you dream about playing college basketball, that's the types of games you want to play in. So, but it's not well, this means this, and this would, I don't go that deep with it. Like, we're trying to go get number 3, you know, and it happens to be St. Louis. It happens to be a team that's going to, you know, be right there to win a championship, a team that's going to be an NCAA tournament team. It's all those things, you know, and whatever quads and this and that and nets and all that, like, we'll worry about that at a later date and time. Our objective is we need to go win the game, regardless of where they are in the net, where we are in the net, where they are in KenPom, where we are in KenPom, what quad, whatever. The objective is to go get number 3, and we have to do that.
Avila and Schertz been together for a long time now. What do you see just in terms of their synergy, and how do you slow down the fact that they run a lot of their sets through him? And do you try and throw different bodies at him? I'm sure the plan is that Lazar spends a lot of time on him, but do you try and throw some different stuff on them defensively to mess with his rhythm?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see, you know, to be honest with you, like, 2 guys that have basically made their names from each other, right? Like, you know, I don't want to go too far with it, but, like, it's like Brady and Belichick, right? Like, it's like 2 guys that you're like, when you think of Josh Schertz, you think of Avila. When you think of Avila, you think of Josh Schertz, you know, whether it's Indiana State or over here at St. Louis. So, you know, they really seem like a great match, you know, and kind of knowing what the other one wants and needs and how to play off of each other and things like that. So, yeah, we'll have to mix up. You know, they're not a team where you can just kind of do the same things over and over and over again. They do a really good job of picking up where they can take advantage of you, right? So because of that, we have to be ready to adjust on the fly and have some different, you know, packages ready and different things ready So that's not just, okay, well, you know, this is what we're taking advantage of over and over and over again. We have to be ready to adjust. And our guys have done a good job of that. Again, that's what's helped us with our non-conference schedule. You know, we've played really good teams, really good coaches, really good offensive teams, teams that could hurt you in a bunch of different ways. We've seen what's worked and what hasn't worked in those games, and been able to take little bits and pieces and try to mold that around who we are, right? And, you know, so whatever, Utah State, we take something from there, and you're like, all right, we need to get better at this. Let's go get better at this. All right, you know, NC State, all right, they took advantage of this. We need to make sure that we're ready for the next team that does that. St. Louis is a team that kind of does all the, you know, all the things we've seen. They have the ability to take advantage of you that way. So we have to draw back on that experience and the work we've done, you know, to be ready that whatever we need, we're going to have to be ready to use it. It's not going to be one thing for 40 minutes with them.